Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Apparently, it is a bull market for everything besides AMC. Well, that's a little dramatic, but that's kind of how it feels. The markets are doing exceptionally well today. AMC stock is basically break even. You're down about 1 cent, around a quarter of 1%. So, not really participating in this rally. What's going on? What do you need to know about this situation? Why is AMC not participating? And I'll do my best to break that down for you here in this video. Go over any and all news that we have, the data specifically on AMC, and what the markets are looking like, what the data and the markets look like. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section, because there's really not a good answer for why AMC stock is not performing alongside the rest of the markets. Now, you can make some, I guess, simple conclusions. There's a lot of shorting activity in AMC. I think that's painting a broad brush, because that's, you could say that for any day that AMC is underperforming. But today you are seeing cost of borrow fees jumping to about 9%, which is a lot higher than where AMC has been recently. So that could definitely fit the bill today. And there's really not any specific news that would be affecting AMC today. We are currently waiting for the Reddit IPO. I guess maybe if you kind of group Reddit with AMC, maybe some money's pulled out of AMC waiting for this Reddit IPO. I don't know. I don't exactly buy that, but it doesn't sound too far-fetched to me, right? So those are kind of the two reasons that I think you could be seeing some downside pressure today on AMC stock, or at least really just neutral pressure overall. The stock is really just doing a whole lot of nothing. Now, short interest continuing to rise, now at 14.01%, $156.14 million currently in short positions. Days to cover 2.48, 36.74 million shares that are currently out, or that are currently sold short, 52 million shares out on loans. So the shares out on loan is up 243% in 3 months. There's a lot of shorts, presumable shorts, that have taken out positions but haven't shorted AMC yet. So there's a lot of shorts that have borrowed the stock but have not yet shorted the stock. Very interesting. So I think maybe you're seeing a little bit more of that shorting today. And if all of these shares that are out on loan do get ultimately shorted into the marketplace, you're going to see AMC stock short interest well over 20%. Now, is that going to happen? I don't know. It's really going to depend on what comes next for AMC. And I do think every day AMC stays at these lower prices, I think you're getting closer to ultimately that catalyst that I've been waiting for the last 2 quarters now. I've been waiting for a commitment not to dilute shareholders. If I was the CEO of AMC, AMC would be a $15 to $20 stock at the bare minimum right now. Adam Aron unfortunately does not want that, but he does not have a choice. Inevitably, he will have to give us that commitment not to dilute shareholders. And that's where you get the big trade in AMC. That could potentially cause a MOAS-like event, because what happens, you get the stock that rises, AMC can raise capital at higher prices, let's say $15, $20. Then you really start to make a big dent in the debt load that AMC has. If AMC comes out and they raise capital at $4 per share, they're really going to be selling stock at, in the threes. There's just not enough shares that they can sell to even make a dent in the debt that they have at these prices. You really have to get AMC stock higher. That is Adam Aron's number one job. Whether he's knows what he's doing there, whether he succeeds, I think is another story. But inevitably, I think it's going to happen. I think AMC is going to go higher. I think the bigger question now is, how high is AMC going to go? Are we going to go through a MOAS-like event? What causes that, I think, is the better question, because, is it what I've expected? The commitment not to dilute shareholders? Is there something else on the near-term horizon, good or bad, that we don't know about? That's also something that could be having a impact on AMC stock today. Maybe the markets are looking at this and saying, hey, AMC is going to dilute shareholders soon. And maybe they do. And if they do, that's not going to be great. Option activity today in AMC stock. Volume is 65.77% to the call side, 34.23% to the put side. So pretty much 2 times as many calls bought today than puts. That's a pretty good ratio to be sitting at. Not any hedge fund or institutional option activity as of right now in AMC stock for the day. So that's, kind of strange because we haven't had any option activity basically this entire week from hedge funds and institutions. Now, the big reason why the markets are rallying, not necessarily AMC, is because of Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell went full tilt to the bull side with no shame. I mean, he basically said they're not dismissing the first 2 months of the year of inflation data, but they're basically ignoring it. That's kind of reading through the lines of what he said. And that's not what I expected. I didn't expect the dot plot to still price in 3 cuts in 2024. I was dead wrong on that. Flat out wrong. I expected a more hawkish, conservative Powell, and we did not get that. So it seems like Powell's kind of putting all of its eggs in the inflation's going to continue to fall basket. If that doesn't happen, we're going to have an even bigger problem on our hands. But I mean, that could be a problem for later on. It's probably not going to happen as far as a hike this year. I think if inflation were to rise, we're just probably not going to see any cuts this year, or a lot less. So, that's potentially a problem later on. Powell not being hawkish yesterday just kicks the can down the road, unless inflation does truly start to actually come down again, in which I think it's far too early to say if that's going to continue to happen or not. So basically, Powell just went full bull. He's looking for a reason to cut rates. It's very obvious. I think he's starting to feel a lot of the political pressures from senators and from Congress as we do head closer to the election. That's like the best thing that could happen to the people that are currently elected, is to get some rate cuts, to get homes that people can start to afford again, right? To get car loans that are not an arm and a leg. I think that's very politically positive for the people that are still in office right now. So yeah, Powell, full bull. The pace of the balance sheet runoff is going to be lowered. Jerome Powell said very, very soon. That likely means at the next meeting. We don't know what those talks look like. We don't know what reductions we would see. But if you see less selling pressure on the bond market, that's less upside pressure on treasury yields. That's a positive thing, no matter which way you want to put it. So that was probably the biggest new information that we got yesterday. That was with the kind of slowing down of QT. So all of these things should have been a positive for AMC. Unfortunately, it was not, which just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, to be honest. I feel like AMC should be up 3 to 4% right now, and I really don't have a good explanation to why AMC is not up 3 to 4% at least right now. I wish I did have some kind of excuse to sit here and say AMC is down because of this. I can speculate on different things that have had impacts in the past, but nothing really justifies this at all. So, kind of strange. Very strange, actually. Sentiment is neutral today at 48. Yesterday, you were extremely bullish at 80. So yeah, sentiment definitely not that strong. On a day like today, where the markets are soaring higher, AMC's not participating. That's not exactly going to lead to people being very bullish. Message volume is at 60 today. Yesterday was at 51, and the participation ratio is at 55, which is categorized as high. Message volume also high today, but sentiment is pretty much normal, neutral overall. So, yeah, it looks good. The situation looks good across the board for AMC. Nothing is getting worse. And, you know, that's the craziest part, because you would think things would be getting worse. Maybe we got some bad news today to keep AMC in the red. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I would love your thoughts on this situation down below in the comment section, because that's all I really got. Whether either it's shorts taking on new short positions, really pushing down the stock, or maybe there's some bad news coming that we just don't know about yet. Maybe AMC investors are selling AMC and getting their money ready for the Reddit IPO coming out any moment now. I don't know. Those are the only things I have, but none of them make a whole lot of logical sense. If you take a look at the option activity for this week, you do have about 2,700 calls currently in the money, 47,000 calls out the money. In the money puts at about 5,600, out the money puts at about 16,000. So decent amount of option activity for this week, but nothing like we've seen last week. But it still could make for a pretty eventful rest of the day today and coming tomorrow. You do have some earnings coming out today and after hours with Nike, Lululemon, as well as FedEx. And specifically, FedEx tends to be a big, consumer bellwether company. If the consumer's doing well, FedEx is likely doing well, and vice versa. So we definitely want to see what FedEx has to say about the consumer. If they follow what McDonald's CFO said, or Dollar General, or Walmart, you're probably going to get the overall feel that the consumer is not doing that great. And that could be a problem for FedEx earnings today and after hours, which could be a problem for the broader market as well. Now, again, on a technical basis, you want to get above that 50-day moving average, currently at $4.37 per share. So you do have to rally, what, 13 cents from here or so, 14 cents from here to get to that level. It's not a huge distance away, but I mean, you still do have to rise, right, to get any more bullish in AMC. If not, we're not going to get above that 50-day moving average. That's going to serve as a top, essentially, and AMC stock could reverse back down into the 350 level, which could be a new all-time low for AMC. So if you don't get above that 50-day moving average, things do not look great. And the stock is just sitting down 1 cent here on the day today. It just doesn't even want to go green, which again is very strange. Volume today, only about 3.4 million shares trading hands. Volume has been very low as well recently. So that's also something that is, notable to point out. Let me know what you think about all of this information down below in the comment section. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.